It gives me pleasure to welcome Sister Maria Sullivan, a sister of St Joseph. For the completely uninitiated who've never been near a Catholic before, what is a sister of St Joseph? Nice and close to your mouth.
A sister of St Joseph is a woman who has made a decision to spend her life in just a loving relationship with God and with an outpouring of that love, helping people, especially with people who are Sisters of St Joseph, who are an active religious order, especially with people who are on the edges, those who are more in need.
And you've been involved for many years with the St Bakita Centre. So first of all, tell us about the saint.
Saint Bakita is the patron saint of Sudan, and she is also the patron saint of trafficked people, because when she was 7 years old she was kidnapped. She was kidnapped 3 times actually, and finally sold to an Italian who was actually in Sudan at the time and taken to Italy.
And you have been involved deeply in assisting people who are newly arrived to this country. Tell us about your work and how it's linked to the theme today of cross-faith and cross-culture community building.
I'd like to perhaps start by saying that I didn't grow up in any way involved with people of any other culture. I came from Coonabarabra. I'm a bushie. I grew up on a farm 6 hours drive from here with sheep and wheat and cattle. And it was only actually when I came to Sydney in 1983 and became involved with people at that time from Sri Lanka and Lebanon and realised how difficult it was for them, especially when they couldn't read or write English. And so it turned my life upside down really. I came from working in the bush, and that's a story in its own right. I could tell you stories about that forever, to working with newly arrived people who have come to this country, but with volunteers, and it has been such a rich journey.
Tell us about the volunteers.
Well, I was doing youth work at the time, and it happened accidentally, really. I was doing youth work, and there were the people around Ashfield at the Inner West. This was in the 1980s. And the people who were coming to Australia at the time were from Lebanon and Sri Lanka, where the wars were happening then. And I was visiting in their homes, and I actually asked them to write letters to their children for a program that we were running. And they couldn't write the letters. And that was a huge shock to me. I had come from the country where the only people of other cultures were the people who were in the Greek cafe or the people who were in the Chinese restaurant. In Coonabarabra, Gilgandra, Galargamba, these places right out in the country. And
sisters, where were the Aboriginal people? Were they on the missions?
There were Aboriginal people in all of those places who did come to our schools, some of them. So we were, as Sisters of St Joseph, we were involved with the Indigenous people as well.
Okay. Yes, go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I guess I was just putting them in the picture. Yes.
Yes, well, I suppose we saw the Indigenous people as the original people of the country. But these were people who'd come from overseas. I didn't know anybody except those people I mentioned.
Yes. So, how did you become involved in assisting new people from other nations? And what have you learnt about their culture and their faiths that's kept you engaged for so long?
Well, as I said, it was accidental. I was working with these young people. They were so energetic and enthusiastic. And we started off just doing little things, like if people couldn't understand the letters that came to their houses, we'd take them to somebody who had the skills to be able to read them and to help them. So it was like being friends with people to help them to the referrals. Because very often they would go somewhere, like to a government agency, and the agency would say, oh, just go and see so-and-so. And they didn't know how to get on the train, which stations. They couldn't read the train station names for a start off half the time. They didn't know how to get there. And what they wanted were people who were friends, who'd just take them and do little things with them. And in fact, for those next 20 years or something, that's in fact what we did with a group called Josephite Community Aid. And it was very small things. And in fact, nothing that I've done has been very big. It's just like offering friendship and offering help to people who need small things. It might be, for example, that their children can't get to the sport because they haven't got the money for that. So to try to find somebody who'll help them to be able to pay for things. Or it might be that they can't get to an English class because they've got so many kids at home, so we do something to help them. With little things that fall through the cracks of the government organisations.
And the people you've worked with over the years, were they from different faith backgrounds?
Oh, absolutely, yes. I can tell you all the wars that have happened in the world since 1983, to be honest. Like in the 80s it was mainly Sri Lanka and Lebanon. Then after that we had people who came from Iraq and from, we had Polish people. And I don't know if there are any Polish people here, but the new people who came with Solidarity weren't all that well accepted by the people who'd been here before, the older people, because they felt the new people were getting a lot more help than they got in the old days. And then there were people from El Salvador and Chile, remember the time of the Chile, and then Bosnia. And in particular, the people from Bosnia, they were often mixed faiths themselves. They had actually perhaps Croatian married Muslim or Muslim married Serbian or just across faiths. And so that was a very interesting time for us. The difference with I've noticed a huge difference with people who come from countries where there is an established educational system, structure and background. People who come from those areas are so much more often able to get on their feet and get going because they've learnt a language. They can read and write in another language. And yet people who come, say the Sudanese people whom I'm with now, those people came from a country that had been totally destroyed and their education system destroyed. So many of the people couldn't read and write in any language at all. And they also are different faiths. Like some of them have come from Sudan are Muslim people, from the northern parts, Christian people, but even the Christian people are from different ethnic groups. So you know that the trouble that's happening in South Sudan at the moment is because of the different ethnic groups that are involved in the leadership. And so that is reflected here when you come to Australia. And even, I would say now, in the beginning it wasn't so bad because there'd been unity against the common enemy. Now, because the conflict is so rife in South Sudan, those little enmities are starting to come alive here as well.
The whole purpose of our session today, with the panel and the audience participation I'll come to, is for people to share work they're doing to build relationships across faith and across cultures, and then for us to reflect on what lessons we can learn from their experience to guide our work going forward. So before I ask about the lessons, how would you sum up what's been the goal of your life work? What have you been trying to do with all these refugees from wars?
Well, as I say, it happened accidentally, really. I had this, call it a conversion if you like. Like I was a committed Christian from childhood. But in the 80s, when I sort of came up against a whole new world for me, it was really, I can't begin to describe it, but it was a whole new world for me. And I sort of thought, like, I've given my life to God to be with people who are in need. And I've been in Catholic education, and like I was a high school teacher with principal of school and all of that sort of thing. And people were starting to get paid to take those jobs then. And I thought, no, I really want to be where there's a need that people can't get paid to do. Like people can get paid to do government work for newly arrived and so on, but those little things where people fall between the cracks, people can't get paid to do those things because you can't fill in a form to get government money to do the things that are friendship towards people. And so also, Julie, I suppose I saw these other young people, Australian born, and I thought, like, we all need to know about this, and the best way to know is to live with people. I'll give you just one little example. I went away for a holiday in the year 2000, and one of the nuns rang me. I was living with people who weren't all nuns, and one of the nuns rang me and said, Maria, your bed's empty. We have an asylum seeker boy called Mohammed. Can he have your bed for about a month? And I think that story probably sums up to be there for people who are in need.
I call that a good story. Mohammed in the bed. Just before I leave you, one last question. What lesson have you learned about building relationships with people from different cultures and faiths, about how to do it well, that we could share with others who want to do the same? What have you learned? What helps?
Look, I don't have an answer to that. All I can say is that the thing that I find that really makes a difference is just to offer friendship and allow yourself to be offered friendship back. And to me, that's often been knocking on the door of a house and saying, look, I'm just here to say hello to you. And once I've got to know the people, sometimes they'll say to me, you're the only Australian-born person who's ever been in my house. Wow. And that's not just knocking on a door willy-nilly, it's within a framework. For example, within the Sudanese community now, because a few of them know me, I can knock on any Sudanese door. And I'm welcome, because so-and-so knows so-and-so. You all know that. Like there's grapevines in every community. And so it's being open to that. But I think the other secret is also being open to be changed and influenced and loved by people who are themselves from a different culture. My life is enriched because of that.
Look, thank you very much. Would you give Maria a round of applause?